Hello again, and welcome to another exciting Wonderland creation. Today we're going to be talking about remote interior angles of triangles and how they relate to the exterior angles of those triangles. Exterior angles are on the outside of triangles. If I take a look at this example, I see my triangle right here. It's in the outline of my pen. And look at the angle they're asking about, angle number one. It's on the outside of the triangle. It's not part of the interior angles. So it's not part of that 180 that's going to be on the interior of the triangle. But you might notice that angle 1 and this angle right here form a straight 180 angle. So if I know this angle on the interior of the triangle, I can use that with the straight angle concept to find the exterior angle measurement. And I have two of the three angles inside. I have an 83, I have a 33. So I can use the sum of 180 on the interior of a triangle to find that missing angle. So let's start by doing that. Let's start by taking the 83 and the 33 and adding them together. And that gives me 116. And since I know that the sum of the interior is 180, I can take 180 and subtract the 116, and that gives me 64. That means that this angle in here is 64 degrees. And now I'll use the fact that that angle that I just found and angle 1 on the exterior make a straight supplementary 180 and use that idea to find the missing angle. So if I take 180 and I subtract the 64 that's on the interior there, I get 116. Well, that number looks familiar. That's this number. I wonder if that's a coincidence. We'll see what happens on the next problem and see if it happens again. So this angle is 116 degrees on the outside exterior of this triangle. Correct. Let's try it again. I have two angles on the inside, 63 and 82, but they're asking me again for this exterior angle, this one that's on the outside of the triangle. So I'll use the same idea. I'll find that interior angle that's missing by doing 82 and 63, and that's 145. And then subtract that from 180 because that is the sum of the interior angles of the triangle. That gives me 35. So this angle here is 35 degrees. And now this interior angle here that I just found and this exterior angle, this angle 1, make a straight. They're supplementary. They form a 180. So 180 minus the 35 that I found the inside gives me 145 degrees. Not a coincidence. This is not a coincidence. Let me fill it in, and then we'll talk about it. There is a rule, a theorem in geometry that says that an exterior angle of a triangle, now, for that to be true, first of all, you need to know that it means that the line that creates a triangle, one of the sides, has to extend straight out. It can't go on a different angle. If this was to go like this way, and it wasn't straight with any of these sides, that would not work. But if you have one of the sides of a triangle extended out and it creates an exterior angle, that exterior angle is equal to the sum of the two interior angles that are not adjacent to it. So this interior angle right here is adjacent to it. It's right next to it. They share a side and a vertex. But these two angles are non-adjacent. They are called remote interior angles. Remote meaning isolated, away from. If you were on a remote island, you would be all by yourself, alone on an island. These two angles are called remote interior angles in relation to this exterior angle. And the rule says, the theorem says that these two remote interior angles add up, have a sum to equal the exterior angle across from them. Let's try that next time without doing all that hard work, using just that theorem. Let's see. So I've got two interior angles here, 76 and 43, and an exterior here, angle 1. Notice that they are not adjacent to this adjacent angle, I don't know, and I don't need to find out this time because I can use my remote interior angle sum to find the exterior angle. So if I just find 76 and 43, that gives me 119 degrees. That should be the measure of angle 1. The two remote interior angles have a sum to equal their exterior angle on the opposite side. So I think that that means that angle 1 is 119 degrees. And it is. And that works backwards too. So this time, instead of having both of the interiors and asking for the exterior, they give me the exterior and one of the remote interiors and ask me for the other one. So the idea still is that this angle, 46 degrees, plus this interior angle here will add to make 92. Well, 46 plus something is 92. I can write a formal equation. I could say 46 plus, I'm just going to call that x, is equal to 92. And solve the equation by subtracting 46. So x would equal, 12 minus 6 is 6. That would also be 46. Or I could just say, since it's just numbers, well, if two things add to make the total, and I don't know one of the things, I can just take the total and subtract the one part to find the other part, 46. In this case, they happen to be congruent to each other. That's not going to happen most of the time. That's just a coincidence. Let's see one where that doesn't happen. Here we go. So they give me the exterior angle is 81, and the two remote interiors are 35, and our missing angle we're trying to find. So the 35 and the angle 1 measure will add to make 81. So I'll subtract 81 and 35 to find the missing angle measure. 81 minus 35, that's a 6, that's a 4, and it looks like my answer is going to be 46 degrees. Good work. Eventually, you'll have some variables with some other things, and you won't be able to just do some addition or subtraction. You'll have to create your algebraic equation and solve that. So let's take a look at a couple of those real fast. I've got my two interiors. I've got a b, and I've got a b minus 41. And they have to add together to equal the exterior of b plus 50. So the b and the b minus 41 have to add together to equal the b plus 50. So I'm going to need to solve this equation because I have multiple sets of variables. I have two b's on the left and a b on the right. So let's solve the equation. We'll combine like terms on the left. 2b minus 41 is equal to b plus 50. If it's helpful to put a 1b in front of that, to put a 1 in front of that b, you might want to do that to remind yourself that you're subtracting 1b. If I subtract 1b from both sides, I just get 1b minus 41 is equal to 50, and then finish off by adding 41 to both sides, and b is equal to 91. Before I enter, I'm just going to look and see if my answer makes sense. 91, that's approximately a right angle. If I look at this b all by itself up here, that looks pretty close to a right angle. So my answer makes sense. If I had gotten like 25 for b, that is obviously not a 25-degree angle, so something wouldn't be right. Or if I had gotten like 170, that wouldn't be right either. Or even worse, if I had gotten like 240, that wouldn't make any sense at all. So just do a visual check. You'll never be able to tell exact, but hey, 91, that's about a right angle. This angle here, that looks pretty darn close to a right angle. My answer seems reasonable. Doesn't mean that I'm right, but it means that I can definitely tell I'm definitely not wrong. And let's do one more. The two interiors have to add to equal the exterior. So c minus 7 and c plus 10 have to add together. C minus 7 and c plus 10 have to add together to equal the exterior total of c plus 46. All right, let's do some combining over here on the left. I got two c's, and a negative 7 plus 10 is plus 3, is equal to, again, you might want to write the 1 in front of the c just to remind yourself that it's 1c. We'll make it a little easier to remember to subtract 1c here, because we're getting rid of the smaller set of variables. So 2c minus 1c, just 1c, plus 3 is equal to 46. Subtract 3 from both sides, and c is equal to 43. Well, let's see. I'm going to type it in, but before I press enter again, I'm just going to double check to make sure it makes sense. So 43 is what c is. None of these angles are just c. So let's calculate each angle just to see what they are. If c is 43, then c minus 7 means that this angle would be 36 degrees. That's pretty small. And that looks like pretty small. C plus 10 would be 43 plus 10 is 53 degrees. All right, that's a mid-sized acute angle. That looks pretty mid-sized acute. And 43 plus 46 is 89 degrees. And that looks pretty close to a right. And if I double check my exterior angle theorem by taking these two interiors, 36 and 53, and adding them together, I better get 89. Let's see, 3 plus 6 is 9, 5 plus 3 is 8, and they equal 89 degrees. So that's how you use your exterior angle theorem to find measurements. Good luck, have fun, and as always, be smart.